Welcome back to the North American LCS Spring Championship Finals, and it all comes down to this. Team Solo Mid and Good Game University are tied at 2 games apiece, and the next team to take down a Nexus will win the North American LCS Championship and $50,000. But before we head into the Rift, I'd like to welcome back Complexities, probably for one more discussion and in-depth analysis on these matches. Now, first of all, have you yourselves been in a best-of-5 series that went all 5 games?
Well, I know you follow my career with great attention. So, of course, I was in one yesterday. So,
yeah, how'd that go?
It was great. It probably took 20 minutes to do all 5 games because that's how good I am. I just ended all those games. Yeah, deal with that.
But we got to talk about this right now, man, because it actually went all 5 games, which a lot of people didn't expect. I mean, did you think that GGU was going to be able to put up this kind of fight against TSM?
I was actually expecting it to either be one way or the other, like TSM wins before 5 games or GGU wins before 5 games. I never thought it would actually pull out the entire 5-game spree.
Where do you think Good Game University is finding their strength from? Is it one person or the way they're coming into it?
Actually, that last game I felt like was more of TSM not playing against it correctly. Okay. Because their comp was pretty like two-dimensional. Like Karthus goes in, softens up everyone, and then Kha'Zix just jumps to the entire team. And you saw in I think they had like that dragon fight where they picked one. Like, they never gave Karthus the positioning. And then in the last 2 fights, Karthus died before everyone else, and then they fought on Karthus' body, and Kha'Zix cleaned up everything. So all the fights went the way GGU wanted it to be, but GGU didn't dictate it. It was TSM playing into the hands of GGU.
All right. And you were actually able to predict it last time. The guys are in the game as well, so we're going to get you out of here fairly quick. But you called the Blitzcrank.
Yeah.
What are you calling this time, and who wins the series?
Man, all right. Karthus wins the series. I'm just going to go and say, if Karthus isn't banned, whoever gets it wins.
All right.
All right, thank you very much, probably, for your time today and all the matches. We'll see you for the Summer Promotion Tournament as well.
All right.
And once again, just thank you for all the insight. So good.
So
so
much
good.
insight.
Enjoy the pool. All right, everyone. So we have our last in the series, the 5th matchup. Yes, the 12-2 GGU found themselves a game, the 1st seed versus the 6th seed now in the championship title, and it is down to the last game.
The fact that GGU started the season 2-12 and then ended the season 9-5 and went on this miraculous roll. To put it into some context, like, TSM's miraculous finish to the year was a 12-2. GGU was the opposite of that at the start of the season. Like, they were so clueless to start the season, it seemed like, but they have come back to be so strong. It is a remarkable evolution of them as a team.
And like we said before, these guys have picked themselves up fans across the world, across the board, with the plays that they've had. Even just a few of the people have said that they've gained so much love from the fans, and it's helping them play. It's helping their momentum. They're seeing that people care, and it's really pushing them through.
And Zion Spartan is awesome. He is just so good in the top lane. It's just an undiscovered talent. Like, the stuff he's been able to pull off, just so many different champions. The Kha'Zix in that last game, even though he got cut on that one team fight, just really good.
We talk about champion pools, and really he shows his staple in that category of people, of having one of those champion pools.
Like, when I actually scout out Zion Spartan's champion pool, it's just like, all right, Jace and everything.
Damn, he might play anything.
Yeah.
So we do see the Karthus banned out. It would have been the winning factor. Probably was right. It has to be banned this time. Twitter wanted it. Even the players wanted it.
And will everything come down to Reginald's Twisted Fate?
Oh, dear.
Yep. Wow, that was fast.
That was super fast. So they take Wild Turtle's Caitlyn away. Let's see. It says Mashmi's Caitlyn as well. So they kind of aren't going to share this time. Being a little greedy. Nintendo Dax picking up the Nocturne once again. The long-range initiation, or just being able to do it whenever they want, has really been effective for them and kind of throwing TSM off kilter.
And there was no Nasus available for either team here. I'd expect the odd one to actually go back to Cho'Gath. Even though Jarvan is available, it seems like the champion that he's had the most success on. Obviously, the Renekton is banned, so Dyrus will be able to pick around Rumble or Malphite if he wants to get something like that. And the Sona being available for TSM is really, really good. You could see they were a little out of sorts without having that crescendo initiation, and now that it's back, I think TSM's going to be a lot more comfortable.
You see, yeah, they locked that in quite comfortably here. Just for their 3rd, waiting to show that. It looks like the odd one will go on to Cho'Gath, possibly considering the dive in from Nocturne Silence on if they're going to get another dive buddy, because GGU does put that crew together.
And here's the question for GGU. Are they going to try the Orianna Rumble thing again? Like, do they think that it was close enough to be able to pull off? They definitely go for the Orianna so they can throw that down. But then what do they put Zion Spartan on? Do they make him a dive buddy to the Nocturne? Do they run Kha'Zix again? Or do they run the Rumble and just think they can execute the composition better like they did in Game 3 where they lost?
Well, invades have been working for them, so I'd say crowd control is a good thing for that. So they pick up the Blitz.
And this is the craziest thing because Thresh is available. So this is Daydreamin saying, I like Blitzcrank more than I like Thresh against this team comp, because if he can pull in Sona or if he can pull in Reginald, he'll win. And even though Thresh can pull, he can't pull in.
So with this kind of Blitzcrank coming in from GGU, it was matched up a lot with Ezreal. Now, Wild Turtle loving Caitlyn is obviously a reason to take that, but is that enough for them to shy away from it?
It might be enough for them to shy away from it. I mean, Wild Turtle, his Varus was...
I mean, he has Draven now.
Was actually pretty good.
His
Varus was actually quite good.
Performed well.
And it's a matter of how much TSM wants to chain their initiation, or if they just want to go... You know, he's played Misfortune twice this year. Actually had really good success on it. TSM as a team has a huge amount of experience with Misfortune because that's almost all that Chaox played early on in the season for them. So, you know, everything that is old is new again. They started the season with Misfortune. Are they going to end the season with Misfortune?
I'm still kind of reeling that we're in a game 5.
We're in a game 8 of the day. We're in a game...
How many games did you say altogether? All of them? Like 15?
I believe this is going to be number 26.
There's somebody upstairs that said it? Yeah, all together, yeah.
Yeah. And this will be the...
Shakes head.
Yeah, this will be the 11th game for GGU of the playoffs. They've played every single one.
So there are the lock-ins. Rumble coming in on one side, and the Kha'Zix was enjoyed by Zion Spartan. So he's going to do it again, get his hop on.
Yeah, so the combo for GGU is actually there. They are all in. They are an all-in team comp. The protection for Don't Mash Me is close to non-existent. Blitzcrank doesn't actually protect very well. He can knock one person up, and then they're going to continue to kill Don't Mash Me. It's like, don't go. Damn it. They got him. I only silenced him for half a second. It wasn't long enough. And that's going to be really interesting for GGU. They have to get pulls to start things. They have to dive into TSM, and they have to kill Wild Turtle. And they have a team that can potentially do it. I don't know what's going to happen.
It is a toss-up for these teams. The lane swaps even. You have the Sona lane with an MF, which you can get some poke out of. You're going to hit the power chords, but MF usually not the one to run up. High mana costs on those, so we'll have to see if they get the swap in. How is Kha'Zix in a 2v1?
Kha'Zix in a 2v1 can survive, but it's not that pretty. He doesn't have the AoE clear that he needs because he doesn't have his Evolved W. He essentially tries to max W, sit near his turret, and heal off of the close-range W detonations, which actually keeps him open to a little bit of harass. So if Zion Spartan does get stuck in that 1v2, he's going to have to survive it.
All right, everyone. The North American League Championship Series Spring Finals. Now, the last game about to be underway. Team Solo Mid versus Good Game University. You can see them facing off behind us. We're on to the Rift and into Game 5. Game point for both teams. $50,000 is on the line. And that title for first place. Like we said, GGU coming off 2-12 in the beginning of the season. Team Solo Mid finding their way to first place and look to hold it with this game.
Be the ultimate Cinderella story, and as Nintendo X was saying, people would remember this for a very long time. It's quite the opportunity for even both of these teams. For TSM and GGU, it's being the first spring split champion of the North American League Championship Series, and it's going to be well-deserved for whoever wins this because this has been an amazing series.
It's been over 112 games between these teams throughout the first split. And now as we come into the finals, we see what the fifth game inventory proves for us. Shows us. We have that forward pot on Zion Spartan and a forward pot on Reginald in mid as well.
So that is the one wrinkle the TSM is throwing at us. The mid lane Reginald forward pot. Whether that's because he thought he was getting himself into a 1v2 or not, I can't be for certain. I know that Daydreamin has done a lot of 1v2 blitz mid, and they try to get buff control with it, so Reginald might be trying to prepare himself for that. But there are probably more pings coming out in this level 1 than I've seen all series. Actually, mirror wards for each team. They've warded the exits to their red side of the jungle.
Wards, yeah.
Only new ward actually coming in over that wall. Third river ward for GGU, but pretty standard starts for the junglers. I still don't know where the lanes are going.
They are keeping Blitz and Caitlyn in mid. That's going to be a lot of poke for Reginald to deal with here in that early part of the game. TF isn't the wave clear of maximum potential, so they could give him some big pressure.
All right, so I think we figured it out here. Looks like Don't Mash Me and Daydreamin are going mid to face against what I think is Reginald. And then Wild Turtleneck especially going to 1v2 against a bottom lane Orianna. And then Zion Spartan is going to try to hit level 2 very quickly in top lane and then all in against Dyrus because Zion Spartan took the double golems and has a red elixir start.
Ooh, they have the ping in. Watch. Oh, Daydream and forced the flash in mid. They actually just pinged that as well. And they said, look, he's coming down. Let's try to get Reginald on the right side of the wall.
So what TSM actually did when they spent so long pulling the Odd One's red buff is they waited for GGU to show in the lane to know where they wanted to be able to go. And that's why they tried to shut down Daydream, and that's why they were able to burn the flash.
And they are still getting the rotation on.
Yeah, they're just rotating like crazy. I wonder if they can catch someone in transit, because that pink ward at least reveals Wild Turtle coming into the bottom lane.
And we've actually seen some teams use that to great effect. Getting the transition, getting the kill in. Not this time, though. Back to the normal laning phase. We see top's going to be left on an island. Daydream and looking to get an early pull there. 2s to 1s right now in this lane.
Yeah, the lane swaps have been an advantage for GGU. They're pressing really, really hard. Domash is going to try to get rid of all the creeps, and then Daydream is going to take a shot and hope that there's no counter gank there from the Odd One. The Odd One isn't that close in this situation, and this would be the slightest of opportunities for GGU to try to get that first blood if the first hook lands.
So 3 minutes in here already. It looks like we are going to get the lanes evened up. So we're going to see how the junglers coordinate to this. They've had to do something different each time. I don't think they're going to have to sit and farm in a lane, but we'll have to see. That's going to be dictated by the pressure of these double lanes.
And it's funny, as this series has developed, they've wanted to lane against each other heads up more and more. I think that could just be either GGU confidence coming in, knowing that they can stick with these guys, because TSM's kind of legendary in the North American scene, and GGU are still very much a team that is just now feeling success, but they're confident in these lanes, and early on, they're pushing pretty hard.
So going back, see Zion Spartan does have an elixir in his inventory now, and a Doran's Blade, so he actually goes back early to get that.
Yeah, that was a very early shot that he did. He shoved up the lane all the way, didn't have wards in the river, and the Odd One hadn't shown himself. So he was actually a little bit afraid of a gank, and since Darius is freezing it, he's making sure to take the double golems until he sees where Cho'Gath is, not safely go into that lane.
That's true. We haven't seen too much from the junglers, and as we say that, Nintendo Dax looks to creep into the bottom lane here. Double buff on him. They don't have the effect of the lantern toss, and there's a forward ward here from TSM this time, so they're playing this one way safer than the last game.
And there is a Nocturne waiting in the wings if the hook lands!
They still get the grab onto Expecial. That's going to be the low HP of Soda. They could find the first blood here. The Duskbringer doesn't hit, but it's the flash called in from Don't Mash Me.
Daydreamin's Blitzcrank is awesome. The hook lands and gets them first blood, plus the flash has been burned. So deja vu all over again for TSM in the bottom lane there. No flash against a Nocturne. How do they respond?
There's a new nomination for Mayor of Hook City coming in with this playoff match. This finals of the match, I should say. At 5 minutes here, Daydreamin making things happen for the team, creating first blood for Mash Me. And it looks like they're just going to push this lane, and as you would say, Dirty Farm behind it.
And that is why the Odd One is on his way bottom. They're trying to defend this off, but there's no Reginald in the area, and GGU, they don't want a part of that. They're not willing to dive that early, but they did get a lot of turret damage.
Absolutely, prepping that turret for anything they would want, probably later if they go for the dragon, but still waiting off here. Mash Me, he's trying to bait this in?
They're thinking that there's no ward here. That is a very irregular ward placement by Expecial. The pink ward cannot see around the fog of war to get that, so TSM knows there's people waiting in that brush, but GGU doesn't know that there's a ward seeing them. But Turtle gets caught anyway!
Turtle goes out, he just used everything. No, he has everything to get out of this fight, so he played it patient last time. Odd One almost got himself punched in the face there.
That would have been a little close, but TSM does have 3 to support, and it looks like these guys are just going to back away.
Yeah, they say, we have 3 in lane, see you later. Power chord right to Mash Me, pushes him. Reginald and Jinte going back and forth here, kind of sporting the same amount of mana, meaning they are going for the damage as well as that farm in the trade here.
So I'm still a little intrigued by this red pot Reginald in the mid lane, because he hasn't used it. Obviously, you do want to sit on the red pot during trades, but TF's not the type of guy who, like, red pot brawls early. And so, unless they were willing to go into a 1v2 with him, I don't see why he would have started with that. So unless they were really wanting the 2v2 lane, it's still a weird choice.
So what if it's the fact that, right, he's got the Odd One running around. He hasn't seen the Odd One yet, so he knows to play safe. This is for his first engagement. If he has to go in, he can throw it on with the Destiny.
The red pot will be for his first engagement, 100%. It's just a matter of he's now later to his items, and Twisted Fate is
That's true.
very much about getting that early Sheen, early Zani's Hourglass, so he can make the stuff happen.
See if he uses it to great effect. He's going to go back now. We'll see what his buy is. Probably getting boots in to make the Destiny effective. He stays in lane for now, but he is 6. So maybe there's a call in the lane. We're about to create pressure. Cho'Gath's going bottom. They could look to do something here.
And the next time that Daydreamin lands a hook, he's got to be worried about the position of Reginald, because he could hook himself into a 2v3 if Reginald is not pressured that much by Jinte. But that lane is going pretty close, so currently, even though Reginald's 6, there's not the lane pressure being applied quite yet.
We'll see what he has for himself. 1,500 gold there. Definitely enough to get his Sheen at 1,200 and some boots if he wanted to. So we'll see if that is his first pickup buy. Nobody else really going back just yet. It's a pretty long laning phase besides Zion's first buy there.
Yeah, aside from the hook that landed in the bottom lane, these guys are just happily farming away. The Cho'Gath has been sucked bottom lane once again. So again, Darius and Zion Spartan get to have happy farm time in the top lane. And they're enjoying it, I think, 53 to 57.
He just left on an island up there. Finally, Zion Spartan going to get that tier stack up. He goes ahead and picks up boots for himself as well to get away from that scrap shield of Dyrus and the engage of the Flame Spitter. Reginald to push out mid here. He did go back and get his buy, so after pushing this lane, they may need to, or not need to make movement, but they may make some because Dragon really hasn't gotten any attention yet.
And there was a little bit of an odd choice that came out. Never mind, I figured it out. I'm a fool. For some reason, I thought Jinte built the Katie's Lucky Pick. It's like, he hasn't built that item before. But then he does actually build it every game because he's going into the Morellonomicon. Once again, it's just I haven't seen him start with that item yet. So he's actually not that pressured by TF in lane because he hasn't had to build any mobility or even his Fiendish Codec early.
Nintendude waiting off in the wing here, seeing if they can pull any pressure. If they can get eyes on this back in that bottom lane, this Dragon is easily theirs, and they're going to pull it right out of the den.
And you could see Reginald canceled his back. It was like super
Reginald
close to being
and
done
Wild Turtle especially.
by the time that was going. And now they're going to try to harass this one down, but I don't think they can get in position in time.
There's not a lot of damage happening on this, but Cho'Gath off on the wing. They don't have wards on that. This is getting pretty crazy for them. They get the ward over the wall. That really gave them some great positioning. They're like, wait, nobody's near us. That's just Destiny.
That's the edge that they have right now, 1,000 gold. It also sucked Dyrus down from the top lane, so they didn't even lose top lane turret pressure in that situation. And TSM had been out farming them a little bit thanks to the Twisted Fate passive giving them some extra gold, because despite the first blood and despite the 975 gold, this is going to be big.
Oh, the ward goes down. He starts it off with the equalizer, but he doesn't put it on the exit path. It's just going to be pushing Zion Spartan out, which will hurt a bit, but those two are even right now. And look, Dyrus only looks to pick up a red buff off this.
Still a smart play for Dyrus to wait in transit. That's one of those punishing someone for repetitive lane swaps. And since Dyrus got sucked partway down to the mid lane and there was no punishment, that's the way he deals with it.
And it looks like seeing Dyrus in the jungle, Zion's like, take that bottom turret. I want some gold to buy. He comes out of base after that turret goes down. 13,500 to 11.8 for Team Solo Mid. That gives GGU the upper hand in gold, turrets, and kills right now.
So very good things happening for GGU. 2 games to 2. Finals. Could GGU actually be our champions?
Gosh.
It is still too far to tell. The game is only 10 minutes in. We have yet to see the team fight actually happen. Reginald has only used one ultimate that was made for vision. There haven't been any ganks that came out yet. The lanes have been very close. This is going to be quite a finish.
The only kill in the game to Mash Me right now. Able to find that earlier, and he expended Flash for it. But it was so long ago that, like you said, there's been no aggression. Everybody's summoners are pretty much up if they haven't used them on jungle camps. Odd One waiting for Feast and Smite to come back up. And we're waiting, I believe, on Blitzcrank's Flash and Zion's Flash for the last engagements they had. So still slow and steady for these teams right now in Game 5 of the series.
It's a pretty good window that GGU got turret damage down there. They got half the turret for almost nothing as the hook gets nothing. But very close to getting almost everything because they would have hooked in Dyrus, who did not have an ultimate. But now they continue to try to pressure these lanes as Nocturne has yet to use his ultimate. Reginald's ultimate's up as well.
So they kind of just push the lanes, you know, as they would be. Jinte goes down to the bottom here, and it looks like Zion's going to take over in mid.
Yeah, so they're just rotating as best they can, but there's not the best holder for Nintendo X, and he's waiting for his opportunity to use that ultimate right. Again, he's going for what looks like the Elder Lizard item on Nocturne, so we can spam down that wave clear, get the true damage coming into these fights. And this is very tense time for these guys because they know if they make a big mistake, the other team's just going to jump all over them.
Reginald saw that wild card hit. He's like, lock gold card, I can kill you. And he tries to go in as the minion wave went down. Zion Spartan read it with the 6th sense there, and he looks to just stack the tier. That red pot should keep him safe. It looks like Reginald, I thought he was going to go roam, but it looks like he'll only take the Wraiths on this.
Yeah, Reginald doing his best to farm up, still sitting on that red elixir. Now it's a 4-man stack for GGU though, and TSM has to react with this. This turret's going to take a lot of pain.
It is. Mash Me on that top side. He's got himself safe. Great positioning by Nintendo and Daydreaming to really leave themselves into any of the engagement. Keeping that back line safe. Really, GGU is moving quite well in this game, and it looks like TSM is forced to respond every time.
Yeah, there is a lot of posturing movement, and actually very few people getting caught in transition, aside from the Zion Spartan, that one chain where he had to block over. And someone eventually is going to get caught in the chaos here, whether it happens from a Nocturne ultimate, a Twisted Fate ultimate, or a Blitzcrank hook. I can't see them lane swapping at this frequency without someone getting caught soon.
You can actually see the focus that they're putting on the map vision and what they can control with Daydream, and he rushes the Ruby Sightstone over Boots, over anything, so they can place as many wards as possible.
And if we look in this top lane again, Dyrus just beasted down Zion Spartan and may be able to get a lot of damage onto this turret because Zion Spartan hadn't built any magic resistance up until just now, where he's like, man, I really need a Hex Dinker against this Rumble. So Dyrus definitely taking some advantages in that lane.
You see Nintendo Dax trying to come to the top lane and guard that turret from going down, but like you said, Dyrus able to put not that much damage. He was focusing on the minions, trying to get himself built up. It's 93 to 91, and he's been able to push out Zion a few times in lane.
And especially in a game with a couple pseudo-globals and a Blitzcrank, I'm still blown away that we have not seen more action in this one. These guys are playing either very cautiously, very smartly, or very conservatively. I can't quite tell yet.
And Reginald, again, switching up his build. Instead of starting right into the Zonias after this and with the Sheen, he goes Home Guard Sword Boots right off the bat to get himself back out for that first engagement.
One of the early boot upgrades, not something we see from Reginald that often, but it will benefit him in this game because there's so much pushing going on. They have to deal with a Caitlyn push, a Zion Spartan push, and even Orianna who pushes quite quickly. So if any of these outer turrets, any more of these outer turrets go down, having those Home Guard boots are going to allow Reginald to Home Guard into range of a Twisted Fate ultimate, and then get into a fight anywhere.
All right, Dyrus holding down this top turret. Spirit of the Elder Lizard finished up onto Nintendo Dax. He's been favoring that item and Nocturne in this series. We're really seeing where the comfort champions fall for these players. It's the title match. It is the last chance they have at 2-2 in this 5-game series.
And I love how in the title match, it has a completely different feel than all the other ones. There was a lot of, like, there's been First Bloods that have come down in all these other ones with like crazy back and forths.
Yeah.
And then after the First Blood, there was a big reaction to it. The last game had like 17 kills in 19 minutes, and this one's just like, yeah, 1-0, 14 minutes in, because everything is on the line.
Chinte giving himself some safety to farm down in the bottom lane, and they're actually getting a good push on here. This is something GGU, not a push, but getting everybody farmed at the same time while easily holding lanes. They're not losing anything on this, but Dyrus and the team trying to do the same thing here.
And there's a double tier being stacked up for GGU, so they're actually okay with this, but here's the Twisted Fate ult.
Teleporting in, he goes right for Daydreaming here. Daydreaming with the flash, the speed again, he pulls Reginald into the turret. He's forced to flash away, but Reggie is out of this fight with the amount of health that he has. He was forced to pop the red elixir that time.
Very good hook by Daydreaming. So even though TSM had everyone in the mid lane, they actually had to flash in defense of themselves and didn't get any advantages out of that aside from burning Daydreaming's flash on Blitzcrank.
Daydreaming is super tanky on that guy. He has nothing to mitigate that damage, and he just took a full brunt of Twisted Fate, and they weren't really able to turn around anything on it.
And the Twisted Fate ultimate was burned. Reginald's flash was burned in time for the next dragon, so Zion Spartan has moved down as well. Most ultimates are up in this situation, so we'll see if we actually get our dragon fight. Right now the gold is 1,500 away. Daydreaming is going to want to get a pull, but he's got to make sure to pull the right thing.
We'll have to see what they produce now. TSM knows that with that down, they need to create pressure, so they're going to stick it and try to push themselves. Goal side of Dragon, oh, they get special. The pulls are just so good.
He catches another man in transit, and that's the target he wanted to pull. Not only do they pull a kill, I think that's like pulling a dragon.
Oh my gosh, absolutely pulling the dragon. They're going to get this one pretty much for free. The Destiny down, they don't even have vision for it.
They're actually not even going for the dragon. They're just going for pressure right now. They know they have the man advantage.
Gosh.
There's a huge amount of farm that Zion Spartan's going to be able to pick up in this top lane, so they're actually trying to go for more than just the dragon. They want turrets.
They are making moves right now. That turret went down way faster than the dragon would, so everything here is just going to work in favor.
I love the fact that they went big with the Blitzcrank instead of going for Thresh. One of the big reasons that so many people pick Thresh over Blitzcrank is they say they both have hooks, but if Blitzcrank misses his hook, he doesn't have anything left. If Thresh misses his hook, he still has all these other tools. So you're so all in if you play Blitzcrank. That doesn't matter for GGU. They're all in. They were the 6th seed coming into this playoffs. They're just going for the win, and that's why they picked Blitzcrank, and it's working out for them.
Morello Namakan finished up just before 16 minutes here by Jinte as they start to get core items in. Infinity Edge on Caitlyn to the Bloodthirster on Wild Turtle. That Bloodthirster is not fully stacked, but it's close. And he's still looking for that attack speed to bring out. He gets a quick steroid from Misfortune, which is going to help bring that golden that he's missing, but the Infinity Edge is still big for GGU. Like they said, like you said, they're all in.
Not only is Daydreaming reaping the rewards from his hooks, but so is his AD carry. The Infinity Edge and Berserker's Greaves compared to just the Bloodthirster could make a huge difference in this fight if they don't get caught in a huge bullet time. We might see another 5v5, but I don't think GGU would engage in anything unless they get a shot at another pull.
That is so crazy. 16 minutes, no AD carry boots. Wild Turtle playing solely on good positioning right now for his team.
And you can see TSM's tank line, essentially, which is basically just the odd one, is trying to catch hooks, and Daydreamon's not throwing them out. He's trying to get in position, not wanting anyone else to get hooked, and TSM's being so careful about where they go because they know the potential of that GGU initiation.
This is a dance-off of dance-offs right here. They are staring each other down so ferociously. It looks like GGU will say, let's go for it. Odd one just on the outside. It's going to be a dissonance onto him, so he can't get that quick rupture in and then follow.
GG's got to be careful about how much damage they take from this Dragon. Daydream is already 66% out. There's the vision.
Reginald gets pulled in. He's got low mana, forced to use everything right away on Daydreamin'. They go back into the fight, but TSM has great positioning here. They are going to be able to wipe down GGU from the Dragon area, and Mashmi's forced down the backside. Daydreamin' takes down Reginald. Zion Spartan and Dyrus going head-to-head right now as he takes down Nintendude. He could drop Dyrus, but he gets help from the rest of the team. Mashmi decides to go back in, cleanses off a 1v1 kill for himself onto Xpecial, but TSM retreats to mid to push this wave down.
And the big thing is the odd one got the clutch smite this time. They get the Dragon on top of the 4 for 2 kills, and because so many people on GGU are dead, they're going to get a turret as well.
Pushing down on this, it looks like GGU lost a little bit of the advantage that they had. The gold goes completely even in kills, and on the turrets, it's 2-1.
They lost a lot of their advantage. The gold is actually straight up even.
Yeah.
They didn't have the big time AD carry presence in that fight. Even though Wild Turtles bullet time didn't necessarily hit, the fact that Daydreamin went down so fast and the fact that Jinte actually got obliterated as well was disastrous for GGU in that fight. They got to make sure that instead of just taking big time team fights, when they get hooks, they have to start the fight with them, not already be fighting.
Yeah, that fight really wasn't good for them to go all in with TSM also there for the all in. 19 minutes here. We do see TSM pick up a little bit of ground. They start to increase now in the gold lead as they're farming a bit faster. It's going to be GGU to retaliate here. Try to drop this mid turret. I don't think they're going to have it. Odd One should be able to clear this one out. It's quite safe for them.
The Odd One's having another one of those monstrous Cho'Gath games. Look at his items already completed. Aegis of the Legion and Spirit of the Ancient Golem. He's actually sitting on 5,000 gold, which is only 1,000 less than Dyrus, who is the most farmed player on all of TSM. So really, just another big performance by the Odd One on Cho'Gath. He's really showing up on that champion this tournament.
Really, to take into consideration, like you said, the Aegis, you're adding gold to everybody on your team, and that's big. Daydream is getting into the fights. He tries to get the grab down. They missed, though. He used his flash for that one, so GGU was really trying to push a window there.
Yeah, and now that that flash is down, a big amount of threat is gone for TSM. That was another one of those all-in gambles, but comes up empty-handed after that one. So they did get the turret, so they still are up 3 turrets to 1. Gold advantage swings back in their favor, but this is so tense, Riv.
Absolutely. 20 minutes in and hardly anything separates these two teams, just the way they walk at this point. And as they go 2-2 in the best of 5 series, $50,000 pride, and really the legacy of being the first final spring title winner is on the line.
It's going to be so huge. And Zion Spartan's trying to split push the bottom lane like he did. They're trying to complete those Tear of the Goddess items, get the transforms. You get a really big power spike when you transform those things, which might be what GGU is hoping to wait for their next window. TSM not wanting to let that happen. They're stacking up the top lane because they know Zion Spartan's bottom, but I actually see Zion Spartan staying bottom and GGU giving up that turret.
This is kind of deja vu for Zion Spartan, right? GGU has been able to hold the 4-man pushes. They've figured out a way to thwart that. Reggie coming into the backside, though. He goes right into the terror of Nintendo, but the power-up is so good. Can he get the equalizer? Oh, no, he cannot caliber net out. It's too much. Xpecial gets pulled into the turret. He should be able to make it out with quite a bit of damage. Now the last shot, and the hit goes down. They actually take him out.
But that was a great initiation by TSM. Zion Spartan actually coming back because they know the pushing potential of TSM is too much for GGU to guard. Even though they got 1 kill back, Jinte and Don't Mash Me were the 2 biggest threats on GGU, so they actually have nothing to properly defend those turrets with.
So ridiculous. Reginald says, I don't need a Zonius to dive into 3 people, especially if Blitzcrank is there even.
That equalizer as well by Dyrus was so perfectly placed that it left Don't Mash Me no way of escaping, even though he burned his flash. He flashed right onto more fire, and it just cost him his life.
He tried to even caliber net out, so just even credit the Dyrus ult even more. Very well placed, very good fight and initiation. Now, there is a window here, but it was used by TSM that time. They saw Daydreamin miss that hook flash in mid, and they said, bam, let's pressure top. They don't really have anything to do against this turret, and they activated it. Now waiting for Destiny to come back up. we're going to take a look at the inventories. 147 to 161 for the top laners. But we're seeing those guys now come together in the fight lanes. And the Leandries and the HP from the Giants belt is having a much bigger impact than, like we said before, the single items, the more, targeted at yourself items of the Hex Drinker. And
this time for Darius's Leandries build, he went for Leandries before the Rylai's, and I think it's because they have enough, what they think, chase potential just with Reginald. They're going to catch what they want.
Right.
So they're not really worried about it as much. It helps them with the burn, and I think it's overall a pretty good item choice.
Look at the other side as well. More attack speed. That Phantom Dancer trying to be completed on Don't Mash Me. We haven't gotten Caitlyn to that late game part yet, but he already has the Infinity Edge, so we should start to see that damage coming from him. There's not too much armor across the board, however, being built for Team Solo Mid just yet.
Not at all, and that does leave the potential of Zion Spartan going crazy in a team fight open. I mean, if he gets through the tank line and starts cleaning up the back, it could be devastating like it was in the last game. But again, these guys playing with a little bit of fire. Anytime the split push starts coming out, Reginald in the top lane, Dragon coming up soon, the potential for getting Blitzcrank hooked out or initiated on with an odd man formation is open.
Just missing that one. Like you said, the Oracle's coming out. Everybody trying to clear it now at 23 minutes in here. And they look to be posturing for this Dragon in 30 seconds.
And GGU's wanted to put wards over the wall, and they get X Special with a fear.
One more time for X Special to get caught in, but look how quickly they turn around on that.
And there's Reginald in the top lane, pushing away. The Dragon is up in 15 seconds, but GGU doesn't have time for this. They actually have to send a defender back there.
They have to. Reginald has his Lich Bane now. Watch him crush this turret. Just a few shots. That's what an 80 carry would be doing. So he's got the top turret. We see Daydream and the team trying to go for the bottom lane, trying to push out the bottom split push coming in. It's going to be Zion Spartan to thwart out the top one, but Team Solo Mid finds a turret out of this push.
Totally worth it. They forced them back. They knew the Dragon timing, and they get the turret for it. And this still opens up the Dragon because GGU doesn't actually know where Reginald went. Zion Spartan takes a bit of a risk by only pushing that lane out there. There are no wards directly on there for GGU, but they see them right now. That Dragon getting low. We could see a fight here.
A good shot onto X Special. They try to get a Peacemaker in range. It's going to be very scary here. They just used a Blitzcrank grab. Why are they so close to the fight? The Crescendo goes right across with the bullet time. Zion Spartan from the top, but they quickly changed their mind.
So Nintendodex got caught between where he didn't want to be. That choke point they were funneling through was full of bullets, and they could not push through. Jinte didn't even burn his ultimate, so TSM does have to be slightly careful of a reinitiation by GGU now that Zion is fully in range.
Oh, Zion Spartan taking up blue.
Got it. He got the blue buff from him, so they lost the Dragon, got the blue. They are starting to fall behind a little bit more in gold, though, because these fights are being found by TSM, not GGU.
And they're quickly happening in favor of Team Solo Mid, but it's only about a 3,500 gold spread. That's still something GGU can work with, and we've seen them work with that much of a deficit in these past few games in the playoffs. Definitely still in this one. The Bulwark has been finished along with the Spirit of the Elder Lizard. For Nintendude, they are still stacking those tiers, however, that have usually been completed by now for Good Game University.
And Good Game University has to be really careful where they fight and when they fight. So TSM is usually good at the when and the where. GGU just has to be better at it. If they get caught in corridors like that, you get to see Nintendodex doesn't even get to participate. Jinte doesn't even find a good ultimate. If they fight kind of more in the open, the only advantage that GGU would have is they can kind of suck a couple people in with the ultimate, but then the rest of it is like, can I pull someone? Can Zion Spartan single target assassinate people? It's TSM that really wants to get the wombo combo AoE initiations. GGU has to find a way to fight in the open, otherwise they're not going to win this game.
And the thing that has to be, ticking against them, the 2 or 3 pulls on X Special now, they haven't been able to follow through with.
And Daydreamin's actually on a bit of a streak of missing the pulls. He's gotten so many early game, but TSM seems to have adapted quite well. They're putting down a lot of wards, and they're learning again how to play against Blitzcrank because, Blitzcrank is a very hard champion to play against, but this is round 2 in this series of them dealing with it, so they may finally be catching on of how to avoid the hooks.
It's what it's been about all year, adaptability, and sitting at first right now, Team Solo Mid has shown that they can bring it out on top. And with a silver lining. See at 26 minutes, 7-5 here, 38,000 is a 4,000 gold lead on the 34K of GGU. The turrets are 4-3. Like we said, we're in game 5. It all matters what happens to that nexus of either base when it comes down to the last seconds.
So, will GGU find fights? Because they've been so pushed back for so long here. Daydreamin does have his boots mobility and his Ruby Sightstone as per usual, but GGU has fallen quite far behind. They had a pretty big lead before that last Dragon, before like 2 Dragon fights from now, but they have consistently been falling behind. If you had to trend who has control and momentum right now, TSM would be way in the lead. So GGU actually needs something drastic to kind of pull their way back into this one, especially since X Special is walking around with an Oracle, it's denying vision, because that's what Daydreamin needs to get this game back into his hands, is some vision.
You can just see him trying to set up a pull here, get one to himself, and really separate the team. He's going to go ahead and put another word down at Baron. He's telling the team, be safe right now. We don't and should not initiate anything.
Absolutely. I mean, TSM's waiting for GGU to make a mistake. They're waiting for GGU to push in. I feel like TSM has the confidence that they would win this one late game. I think that's why they're kind of playing like this. They're only really forcing the objectives when the Dragon is around. They're using that time to use the Twisted Fate ultimate in the right ways. And they've actually cut down their time in transit by a really large margin because they were getting caught out by a lot of Daydreamin hooks when they were doing that, and they've kind of stopped moving in those routes.
What is it for Good Game University, really? How stressful is it when you're just, you know the other team is waiting for you?
It is so stressful for these guys right now because not only do they know that TSM is waiting for them, the stress is on GGU to find TSM, because if they don't find them and they don't start the fights with the Blitzcrank, the pick doesn't work out for them. And now that TSM is just continuously going in and getting those wards, you can see Daydreamin had to just go back and refresh his Ruby Sightstone and actually pick up an Oracles of his own because they need to get some of this control back. They
are absolutely suffocating GGU out of wards right now. I look over to Daydreaming. He does. He just came back out of base. 5 charges on his Ruby Sightstone, but they've been wasted in the inventory. Not wasted, but used.
Reggie's going for fight.
Reggie ulting in onto Mashmi, but he's forced out very fast.
Flash and Cleanse down for Don't Mash Me, so that's not going to come up as quickly as the next Reginald ultimate, so that was a great force by them, trying to combo with the Rupture as well to really force all those summoner spells out. And they're just, you can see they're looping around the long way because they're not letting Daydreamin pull over the wall. Reggie actually flashes.
Wow, that was big, and that would have been huge there. They knew Zion Spartan was close. He does not have really any defense besides that Hex Drinker, and he would have gotten exploded.
And they need Zion Spartan to be the one who doesn't start the fights. He has to come in at the end if they want these things to work for themselves. They don't have the luxury of Karthus dying in the middle of a fight and creating the low health targets for Zion Spartan to get out this game, because Karthus was obviously banned in the 5th game of this series.
So what is another way that you can have that happen when you know TSM is saying if we engage in a fight, that gives Zion Spartan a reason to engage? How do you get around that?
They just have to find the right situations. Like, GGU will need to either land a hook or an Orianna ball in the right place, but with the pressure that TSM is applying, with Reginald spamming his cards through all the waves, with Wild Turtle trying to split push. Wild Turtle's catching a lot of items as well. He's just going really big with this, and it's no room for GGU to make the initiations right now because TSM is totally dictating.
It's funny you say that. You say, you know, we haven't had any Jinte do much on Orianna. They find Zion Spartan real quick, and you can see he get frosted as he jumps out of that engagement. But they go back in here. He uses his jump and then throws on his ulti when he can't close back into the fight with his team. They're kind of just walking in. They telegraph this fight. Reginald comes in behind Zion Spartan after the ult is totally fizzled. Dyrus is pulled in, and he says, yeah, equalize it. Turtle comes in on the backside, going right for Nintendude. He can't even turn to tether or fight. Wild Turtle flashes into the fight aggressively, and they just keep going.
2-4-0. They kill Zion Spartan, and then everybody flashes over the walls. The chase continues as GGU is on the run.
Reginald still going aggressive. He's even walking into the fight. Shielded off that time. The wild card looks like it hit there onto Nintendude, but the chase is just not going to be enough for Dustbringer on the follow.
They know they have the 5 for 2. Also, they didn't actually get fought back on very much. Darius had to go back to base and heal up, but now that is 5 TSM members on the Baron. The Oracles is clearing out these wards. There is a flash available for Nintendude X. Daydreamin is very low health. He wants to get a pull. This would be another moment for Nintendude to try his clutch Baron steals, but the Odd One has a feast and a smite, so it is nearly impossible to steal this because the Odd One can get down 1,850 damage of spike.
If he gets this, call Guinness. He is going to the Book of World Records. He is still on the outside. Baron's getting quite low. They do have the feast smite, like you said. It goes to Cho'Gath. They have lost Daydreaming in the engagement as well, and it looks like Dyrus could keep up with this. He hits no. He does not hit the second Rylas proc, and they get out with Baron.
TSM has taken a huge amount of control in Game 5 of the finals here. Wild Turtles rocking 2 Bloodthirsters as well for the potential final push, really trying to maximize that bullet time damage. And it's a good thing Nintendo X didn't even go for that smite because there was no way Oddone was letting it go.
You know, just before that fight started, you were mentioning Jinte not being able to do much. You know, Zion Spartan still not being able to do much. I don't think we've seen a Jinte ultimate. TSM is not allowing the grouping to happen for these ultimates to take effect. They've been quickly activating Destiny with Reginald. The 1 in and 1 out like we saw last time. They almost took down Match Me instantly. How can you react to that, even if you're Jinte?
At this point, since the game is kind of shrinking for GGU,
Yeah.
that's how. They hope they shrink the fights and get them into the ultimate phases. But if they shrink the fights, that also plays right into TSM's hands. TSM's actually been beating them in both phases of the game.
Yeah.
GGU and TSM both kind of have roamy type compositions because Twisted Fate gives global pressure, and GGU gets global pressure from Nocturne and honestly Blitzcrank because he can pull people over walls. But if they're in an instance fight, TSM has way better team fight tools. The Crescendo, the Bullet Time, even the Rupture and the Silence, and the Equalizer coming out from Rumble as well. So since TSM has been outplaying GGU at the mobility, then the only thing that has been left for GGU is the team fighting, which they're down in as well. And Jintae's been so far behind in those situations that he hasn't even been able to burn his cooldown.
The posturing now put on by Team Solo Mid as they split push down to the bottom lane as well. Reginald has that Zhonya's so he can be even more aggressive if he wants. And you can see him. He knows there's somebody coming on the side. He's actually going to go mid. Zion Spartan has been pushed to the bottom lane, and they could choose to go hard on this. They don't even have minions. You can see they want the turret.
And look at all the armor that the Odd One has. He's a monster. He's almost 4,000 health as well. Easily able to tank a few turrets, especially with the Baron regen, not even hurting him a bit.
So with Zion Spartan going to the side lane, they weren't able to activate anything there, but they are kind of spreading GGU thin whenever they want. Reginald's going to go back down to the bottom lane. Doesn't have too much time on that ultimate left, 45 seconds, so they're just going to wait this one out. That Baron buff taken away. They've got about 1.5 minutes on that.
Yeah, they're going to try to get as many turrets as possible at this one. If possible, win the game as well. 33 minutes in. TSM usually likes to end before 40, but this has been a very close, tense game throughout. They do have the edge here that they can go pretty strong.
And you can see how just crazy Reginald wants to be. He's level 18. He knows he can go into the fight stronger than anybody. The Crescendo misses with the bullet time. Catches Jintae on the edge of everything. The turret's going to follow after this, the inhibitor as well.
They're just going so strong. Jintae couldn't use his ultimate again. The follow-up distance that TSM was able to provide with this team is too much for GGU to handle.
Reginald is the only level 18 in the game, and Zion Spartan is 17. Below that, it's 13, 14, 14, and 11. That's why he's being so aggressive.
Also just shows how much TSM has turned GGU into the team on the run. TSM hasn't been the ones that have had to scatter around. It's been GGU. They're the ones spending the time running between the lanes, not getting experience. And TSM are the ones just farming up a storm.
Wow, your Turtle has a 3 level up special, level up on Daydream. And these guys are just left and right going for a Warmogs this time because they know they just want to keep pressuring through the fight. They don't want the first kills and then a turret. They want to fight and they want to end it.
And Dyrus, I think, has that Warmog so he can ward against pulls a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
If it's him and the Odd One in the front, no pulls are getting through that to get a priority target. And if you pull Cho'Gath or Rumble, especially Rumble with the Warmogs, they're not going to be able to follow up. And that's going to be another initiation tool for TSM to use. And with all the turrets down as well, this is looking really pretty for TSM.
Wild Turtle truly looking for blood this game in one of his most aggressive builds.
Absolutely, just the double Bloodthirster. I mean, maybe that's a more defensive build because he's got more lifesteal, so he can keep himself
so true.
at high health in a lot of situations.
Good offense is a good defense.
And that's definitely Wild Turtle's motto. He doesn't build defensive items unless he absolutely has to.
So the Oracles is out for Daydreaming. We're going to go ahead and look at Xpecial. He has one as well. So they're remembering the little things still, but it's going to be the big things. The Cho'Gath in their face, the Dyrus in their face right now before they can continue to work on the little things. They've got to get TSM's foot out of the door here.
And the outermost turret that's still on the map is in the mid lane, and that's why Reginald is there. There's the constant threat that the other 4 of TSM can initiate. So GGU is just kind of stuck letting Reginald hit this turret, poke it down with his Lichbane over and over again until he potentially gets it. GGU backs against the wall. Baron's not even up yet. They need some kind of miracle because they've been losing these team fights and getting out pressured.
And you can just see how strong Reginald has made himself. In CS, almost 100 CS above Jintae. Those levels definitely coming in from that. He has 5 assists and 0 kills this game, and he's still being very impactful for his team.
Absolutely. I mean, just that's the way Reggie plays. He's not the KDA king, but he wins games. And even if he dies, it just doesn't matter because the team is always there to follow him up.
He gets what he needs done before he dies. There it is
there
again.
It is.
The Lichbane comes out. If he goes down, he goes down. They've taken down the AD carry of Mashmi. The turret is going to fall as well. There is already one down, and they're all using everything on Reginald. He's still the first one in the fight, going in front of Xpecial or Dyrus and Odd One.
Love watching TSM play when they are on point. Look at this. They dodge the hook. They're going for inhibitor number 3.
So much safety comes from that hook missing right there, but Nintendo says no safety. The shockwave from Jintae, first one maybe he might have used, but the bullet time completely shreds the team. It leaves the base open, and possibly the Nexus for Team Solo Mid.
So they did get down Wild Turtle. They're not much turret damage up. This may all but seal it, but I don't know if TSM can finish it on this push.
I don't think enough people are alive with the damage. You are right. They're going to try to work these turrets. Jinte's still there. He can clear some of these waves, but it looks like they're going to try to do it.
They got the super minions here. They may get these Nexus turrets down 3, 2, 1.
Team Solo Mid on game point against Good Game University. They're going to be looking for the Nexus in a 5-game series. No, they decide to back off. And the last pressure they could put here in 5 minutes may be the final push.
So they are up 15,000 gold. They have brilliantly executed that entire play. Wild Turtle landed a awesome bullet time that just wrecked GGU when they tried to reinitiate, even though that was mainly the only ultimate that TSM had up. Now, the Baron is actually up in 30 seconds, even though there's no Nexus turrets for GGU, so not only are they at risk of giving up a Baron, Reggie could just teleport into their back door and finish off the Nexus.
You just said it. Why do I feel like Reginald is going to teleport in and take the game with Lich Bane?
He could, but they don't need to. That's actually not a risk they need to take. TSM could actually go in even before the Baron, but they have no real reason to wait or to not get the Baron. They're probably going to take that, walk in with their horde of super minions, and just try to end the game because they're already winning all the team fights. They've already outmaneuvered, and they're probably going to try to take what's rightfully theirs.
And this is awesome, especially bringing out the Mikhail's Crucible as well. One of the few times I think we've seen it in the first few weeks of the playoffs even, or the qualifiers I should say, but that coming out, he's able to help out Wild Turtle if he gets caught up. Remove those stuns, taunts, fears, slows, and whatnot have you.
Just got to give a bit of diversity to his item builds. It's the last game of the split for this guy, so
why not?
Might as well bring that Cleanse Cup.
The Cleanse Cup. Bring it on in. Frozen Heart coming out for the odd one. These guys are big right now, and it's still offensive items being built by Good Game University. Zion Spartan has not gone for any defense besides that Hex Drinker before. Odd one putting down the Cho'Gath Dance on the way in. He takes the Nason hold to the face there, and it looks like they're still going to fight this. Nintendude once again gets the ball. He gets chopped down by the odd one. No chance there. Mashme is trying to run them out of the base. He says, follow me, not the Nexus, but it looks too good for TSM right now.
This is going to be it for TSM. I think we have our champions.
There it is, TSM in Game 5. Looks to be your North American LCS Spring Champions. They take down the Nexus and the title. Woo! We see Good Game University, an amazing season from 12-2 to the championship game, taking second place in the spring split.
Quite a run. They took TSM to all 5 games, and the young team they are, 4 of them are 18 years old. I think Jinte is the oldest one of their team at 20. So much ahead of them. I mean, they're a legitimate threat in the next split of the LCS to make it to the World Finals.
The double roster change coming into the season as well.
They've had so much trouble this year just getting their roster down. They started the year with Shifter. They tried Fat at one point in the top lane. That didn't work out. They brought in Jinte, then Bloodwater left. They had to bring in a new support in Daydreamin', and at the end, they're the second place team in the LCS and took TSM to the limit.
An amazing high-octane ride that they gave us as well. Up and down every game. They didn't let TSM take 2 in a row, and it was an absolutely amazing 5-game series.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the 4-for-2 that happened at Dragon. That was really one of the big things that swung TSM into position to take this game. And this was the pull that Daydreamin' wanted to get. He was getting low at Dragon. This was when GGU was actually ahead in the game, to set some context. Pay attention to Jinte and watch how he ends up dying in this fight, because everyone's eyes was on Reginald and the hook that they were able to provide. But Jinte actually gets wrecked in this fight onto the equalizer. Dyrus just takes him out by himself. And that was the big thing that happened in that fight that allowed TSM to come out on top as they run around and get the cleanup.
And it showed a lot of strength too, right? We said Wild Turtles all didn't fully hit there. It did keep Mashme kind of positioned out of the fight, but the damage wasn't there, which means it's going to be even more hurt when he comes in.
It was just too much for GGU to handle at the end of the day. Dyrus manned up on Rumble. I mean, he played it 3 times in the semifinal. came back to it at the very end for the finish.
An amazing matchup, a 5-game series, all of our series going to the best that they could. The final matchups to be played, it happened because it's the playoffs. The stats don't lie. These teams matched up against each other, and we got to see what happened when, you put fire to fire.
It was just too much. Every single game, the teams could not have been closer. We saw it near the end of the season. The teams just growing and growing and growing, getting closer and closer, to the point where, as Prawley was saying at the end, anyone can beat anybody else.
It really is. Anyone can beat anybody else, and I think a lot of people right there thought GGU had it. They came out very strong in each game, but it was the adaptation, the experience, being the veterans of the League of Legends scene that gave Team Solo Mid the win in the spring split here. So coming up, the 2013 North American LCS Spring Champions, Team Solo Mid will join us to talk about their incredible title run. Stick around.
Back, everybody, and I am joined by the Spring Split North American Champions, Team Solo Mid. And first off, guys, just tell me, what does it mean for TSM to be first place in the Spring Split?
Oh, words cannot describe right now. We're so excited, mainly because it's been a huge roller coaster for us. Because season 2, we dominated, and there was no contestants, and now Riot has done so much with LCS. I mean, it's not just one team. It's not TSM. It's not CLG. It's not DIG. It's 8 teams. There's no more bottom 4 team. The NA scene is getting a lot more competitive, and I really like that. And I think that it's going to take time, but we can compete internationally on an even footing eventually. And I'm extremely excited that it's expanded beyond just 3 or 4 teams. You know, it's amazing, and I'm really happy.
Yeah.
Everything's back to normal.
Everything's back to normal, as the Game Crim's intro says. You're reaching your rightful place as the first place team in North America, as you guys like to say. And Wild Turtle, how does it feel being on TSM, new to the competitive scene, first place?
It feels great.
Awesome stuff. Odd One, the General, you kept going back to Cho'Gath again and again. Why did you decide to default back to that champion at the end of the season?
A lot of the champions I played were nerfed or were picked by the enemy team or banned, so I just saw Cho'Gath was just a really good pick at this current stage in the season because the new Ancient Golem changes. Like, I prefer Nautilus, but I didn't play him enough, so I didn't pick him. But like, it was between Nasus, Cho, and like Jarvan's slowly phasing out. I think he's just really fragile. There's also Nocturne, but he's only in certain comps, so I just devoted back to Cho'Gath.
And I mean, you guys obviously came so far from the 3rd place at the start of the season to really domination near the end of it. What was the biggest thing for you guys that allowed you to retake your spot as #1?
I feel like we were a lot more focused after picking up Wild Turtle, and the team was a lot more serious. I spent a lot of time coming out of the comps and looking at Asian scenes and just coming out of the comps. We prep a lot more. I think the biggest thing about our team is we prep a lot more. Like, before every single match, I would set the guys down, be like, hey guys, everyone sit down. What should we ban? What should we pick? And we're always going in with the game plan. Before this, we just came, we just played. It wasn't as serious, and we're taking it a lot more serious because every single team is trying to get that first place spot. And it's just not 1 or 2 teams being competitive. It's 8 teams, like, working their asses off for that spot. And we're doing it too. We're working really hard. We're preparing for every match, and we're not underestimating any team. Like, we would joke and say, hey, GGU, congrats on 2nd place before our finals, but we really didn't underestimate any team. We knew that was going to be a hard match, and we came in and we conquered.
And Dyrus, I want to talk to you for a second because you were behind Voyboy on the All-Star voting at one point, and then at some point in the season, I feel like you just flipped a switch and became just a new player. What happened to your game, and what allowed you to improve near the end of the season?
I haven't really changed much, actually. It was more of the opinions of the other pros and Reddit, and my dad going on his campaign to have everyone vote for me. So there's many people that were like getting other people to vote for me, even CLG fans to vote for me. So I haven't really changed that much. I guess all I can say is I just stay consistent, you know, keep my champion pool strong. People realize that if they try to ban me out, then I always have something else to play. They always seem to ban my Malphite, so I don't know. I play very consistent champs that are very low risk, high reward, and I did that a lot for the last 6-7 games with Rumble. I just farmed, and this last game I showed that even though I'm playing safe, I can still be really aggressive in lane. If Nocturne's bot all game, then it's my time to shine, and it's my time to win my lane for a change instead of getting camped all the time. So I turned that switch on, and everything went well.
Good stuff, Dyrus. The next special. Of all the people you know the support lane the best, you were giving up Thresh to Daydreaming over and over again. What made you guys have the confidence to do that?
We knew that Daydreaming was a strong Thresh player, and like his hooks, they were on point the whole game. We were so scared of that.
Sort of walked into them.
Yeah. But we felt that hooks are strong lane. You maybe die once or twice, and that's not good. But hopefully in team fights, with stronger AoE comps, and with that we can pull through, and that's what we did. Everyone played pretty well. Some mistakes here and there, but overall everyone played really well.
I mean, now that you guys are the Spring Split champions, what's the next step for Team Solo Mid?
The next step is we really want the world spot. We really want to make it to Worlds, and that's going to be our ultimate goal. It's not winning Spring Championships, but going for Worlds. We're going to work really hard, and we need to practice. We can't get complacent. The biggest thing about our team is after we win something, we get really complacent, we underestimate teams, and we're not going to go into the next split with the same mindset. We're going to play on an even footing with everyone. I think the toughest hurdle for us is just making the world spot. Like, I really want to go to Worlds.
Of the other regions, if you could evaluate them now, have you even taken a look at them? What do you see as like your biggest threat if you're looking that far into the future?
We watch the regions pretty frequently, once a week or twice a week, or pretty much as often as possible. Like, if there's where the Star Wars match is going on, we'd always be watching the matches to try to pick up something from them because they're ahead of us right now. They beat us at MLG, Dallas, right? And it's really important that we always study our opponents going into the matches because preparation is like 90% of the match itself.
Yeah, and even preparation-wise, mentally, you guys did seem to flick a switch near the end of the year. Do you want to talk about your mental focus coming into the end half of the season and where you're still going to go from here?
So before every game, we would just sit down and just talk about the team, talk about what they play, what they're good with, what we probably want to ban, and it's just going to a game and knowing that, okay, we got this team pretty much figured out, and we're not scared, we're not going to be surprised by them. That's really big. Not getting surprised by a team, that's a really big factor when it comes into a game.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys haven't been able to get surprised by many teams. You guys have much better preparation. I mean, would you agree or just talk about how you guys adapt when you hit adversity, aside from like team comp-wise, what you do to adjust to changes in the game?
So right now, when we see something that surprises us, we always take note of it. Like, we always go into Champ Select with a strategy and a specific comp that we're very comfortable with. And it's more of just adapting at the right time. Like we would be losing a game, right? And we would know like we have to make a play now or we're just going to slowly lose the game. So we've gone a long way. Like before, we'd play only passive, and now we can flip the switch on and be really aggressive and try to make big plays to win because sometimes you're just down too much gold and the enemies are just too strong and you really have to make something happen to win. And I think that it's really gone a long way. Like we've been communicating a lot more and people just follow up when I engage and I'm really happy with that.
I mean, and throughout all of these playoffs, the one thing that I noticed more than anything else was your blind aggression into a lot of situations and how sometimes you were 2 screens ahead of the rest of your team, but everyone was still there to follow up. What were you guys thinking or saying to Reginald when he was just like a mile ahead of your team going in for a fight?
We trust them. We trust them by now because if we don't follow up, we're going to lose. So
and I yell at them.
Most of the time when we follow up, it usually turns out okay 80% of the time, in my experience anyways.
Well, 80% of the time, it works every time for you guys, and you're the Spring Split champions. So, again, awesome congratulations. You guys made an incredible run near the end of the season. Thank you very much for the interview. Good luck in the next split. North America is very strong, as you said. There's so much strength in the LCS, so good luck in the next half of the split. And now, we have Kobe on the telestrator to break down some clips from the championship match.
All right, thank you, Jat, and congratulations to TSM. Well-deserved victory, but let's take a look back at that Game 4 and how they got here. This is where GGU really had the game-changing team fight of this game number 4. At this point, TSM, they're up in gold right now. They're winning. GGU are actually on the run right now. TSM are circling their prey. They think they've got this one in the bag, and they're just going to go for it. So let's roll this clip at 50% speed. We'll watch it as a replay here. The Wither goes on to Don't Mash Me. All right, let's pause it right here. You can see, Don't Mash Me, he already got withered, so he was a really good target. He already had to burn his flash to get distance from that. But TSM, their target selection, not the best in this one. They go straight for Jinte, which is all according to GGU's plan. They want that Karthus to go down first because that will give Nintendo the perfect opportunity to use his Cataclysm, locking the rest of TSM inside the Defile and getting that AoE magic damage on the whole team. So then GGU play this really well. After the Requiem goes off, they'll re-engage. Let's roll the rest of the clip here. 50% seed. Yes, they burned down Jinte really quickly, but that's fine with them. Now we just have a little bit of kiting from GGU. You can see they're waiting for the damage from Requiem. Now Zandsparn goes right in. That's 1 reset. He gets the kill. Now he's going to go for 2 resets. Darius is down. That's 2 and 3. Now Reggie's going to be number 4. They only have to wait through his Zanyas, and that is going to be the end of that team fight. They roll this one into the end of the game and taking it to that epic game number 5. So really the lesson right there was just always remember your target selection. When you go up against that Karthus team, might not want to go for him first every single time. Send it back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Kobe. Now it's time to name the most valuable player of the 2013 North American Spring Finals for helping his team win the first ever North American LCS Championship. The most valuable player goes to Team Solomid's captain, Reginald.
And this is really the clear choice for Team Solomid. He's the play caller and shot maker for TSM. His Diana and Twisted Fate were super on point this tournament. People had put so much criticism into his TF, and even though he wasn't playing it perfectly, it fit his tactical game. He had great score, and on a side note, he died 27 times this weekend, so that is a $2,700 donation to the victims of the Boston bombings.
All right, we're just about able to wrap things up here, but don't forget that the summer promotion tournaments are just around the corner.
First up, it's Europe. The Dragonborns, Giants, Against All Authority, and Copenhagen Wolves will battle the top challengers for a place in the EU Summer Split starting on May 3rd at 2 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central European.
And then in 2 weeks, it's the North American Summer Promotion Tournament. Complexity, Marn, Dignitas, and Counterlogic Game will be fighting to re-qualify for the Summer Split against the region's top challenger teams.
The North American Summer Promotion Tournament starts up at May 10th at 11 a.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Central European Time.
And everyone, that's it for an incredible spring split in the North American LCS. Hats off to Team Solomid for an amazing season and an epic championship run. Remember to join us in 2 weeks for the Summer Promotion Tournament. I'm Riv for Jack, Kobe Freak, and the entire live broadcast crew. Thanks for watching.
Logan doesn't even look difficult for Curse right here. This is their game. Your boys got these skills, son! They don't know about this! They don't know about this! Keep going. This is us! This is us! 3, 2, 1, focus!
We beat Dig, we beat Curse.
TSM now.
We got TSM now.
Do it.
Time.
They're slow.
Oh my god, red card. Making fun of myself all weekend. That's right. Gold card, bitches! Gold card!
Keep peeling back. That's a good ball. That's a great ball.
Oh my
Great
God.
ball. They got destroyed.
Yep. 2 more games. Two more.
Nexus turret is finished as well, and the Nexus Crystal to be shattered by Team Solomid in Game 3.
Kha'Zix, stay together.
Kha'Zix hitting me.
Kha'Zix. Nice.
Not the Nexus, but it looks too good for TSM right now.
This is going to be it for TSM. I think we have our champion.
Yeah.